It was well past the midnight shift aboard the Teleran survey vessel when junior analyst Kale Miraz first noticed the anomaly. He had been cross-referencing colonist oral histories against Terran military archives for weeks. Then the screen lit up with a match. One by one, the ancestors the colonists described matched the service records of retired special operations veterans. All of them, the probability was less than 1 in 100 billion. He double-checked the algorithm, the data sources, even the timestamps. But the numbers held.
This colony is not what it claims to be.
Every so-called ancestor was a trained operative. The lost descendants of a generation ship, fabricated down to the last detail. He sat back, the glow of the display casting long shadows. 3 years of cultural exchange had been an elaborate deception.
If their history is fabricated, then what have we been studying for 3 years?
3 years of friendship, of shared meals and stories, all built on a foundation of smoke. He needed to be certain before he told anyone. But already he felt the cold grip of certain knowledge. The colony was a trap. 3 years earlier, long before the anomaly, the Teleran ship Clarion detected pre-FTL signals from a barren system, a lost colony of 4,000 humans living in wood and stone, their technology gone, their story waiting to be told.
Take us into orbit. Prepare for first contact.
The world below is pristine, dotted with small farming settlements and untouched forests. The shuttle descended, and the village came into view. Wattle and daub, hand-pump wells, ox carts. An old man with a staff and a kindly smile met them at the landing zone.
You are the first off-worlders many of us have ever seen.
But you knew we would come? Your stories.
The Aurora's crew knew that someday someone would find us. We kept their memory alive.
And so the exchange began, built on warmth and wonder. The Tellarans had found a treasure, or so they believed. That evening, in the long communal hall, Robert gathered the visitors by the hearth to share the history passed down through generations.
The Aurora was the finest ship of its time, bound for Alpha Centauri, but a navigation finish naturally. Threw them into this dead system.
And they never sent a distress signal.
The impact destroyed the long-range array. They had only the clothes on their backs and a determination to survive.
From the shadows, a younger woman watched the exchange with a craftsman's focus. Lydia, one of the colony's weavers.
You'll have to forgive the old man. He loves to tell the Aurora's story as if we're still waiting for rescue.
By midnight, Captain Veira had already drafted her preliminary report. A lost Terran colony, friendly, pre-industrial, claiming descent from the 23rd century Aurora.
Teleron Command, this is a historic find. Their isolation has preserved a unique Terran cultural branch. Recommend immediate notification to Earth.
The colony's welcome was so earnest, so disarming, that not a single Teleran thought to question the perfect sincerity in their eyes.
Robert, your story will matter to millions. Earth will be deeply moved.
The response from Earth took less than 3 standard days. It was longer than any diplomatic transmission the Clarion had ever received. To the lost children of the Aurora, your survival is a miracle. We are sending a full cultural delegation immediately. You are not forgotten.
They've designated you and me as permanent liaisons, Leon. We're to remain here for a minimum of 3 years.
We've prepared the Eastern Guest House. It's modest, but it means you'll be among us, not just watching from orbit.
This is more than we could have asked for. I want to document every craft, every song, every story. With your permission, of course.
A small encampment of modular Teleran domes rose on the edge of the village, their sleek forms strange against the organic fields.
I'll show you the fields first. We grow food the old way. It teaches patience. And you'll need that here.
Captain Veira watched the first day's activities from the ship's observation deck, her expression unreadable.
Log entry, Day 1. The colonists are impeccably cooperative. Their memory of the Aurora is precise, almost rehearsed. Interesting, but not concerning yet.
3 years will be just about right.
Months dissolved into routines. Leon no longer felt like a visitor. He woke to the sound of roosters, worked alongside the settlers, knew everyone by name.
Hold the shuttle lightly. If you force it, the threads snap. We don't force things here.
It's meditative. I've never made anything with my hands before.
A weathered farmer unrolled a star chart painted on hide. Leon's breath caught the constellation positions matched modern surveys.
Maybe their ancestors preserved more than stories, navigational knowledge passed down. That's a reasonable explanation.
My grandfather was the Aurora's third navigator. He said the real skill was reading the crew's intentions.
Why would a navigator need to read intentions? That sounds more like a security officer.
He smiled at the thought, then let it fade. These were good people, honest, warm. His academic mind was overanalyzing.
You are becoming one of us, Leon. Even Lydia says you are a natural with the loom.
Perhaps my instincts were wrong. The warmth here is real. Questions would be an insult.
The new meeting hall rose quickly. Leon hauled beams alongside the colonists, sweat dripping, laughter echoing under the hot sun.
You are a natural, Leon. The hall will be stronger because you were part of it.
Let me see that cut. From a splinter, chew this leaf and hold the paste on the wound. Old family remedy.
Within minutes, the gash sealed shut, as if it had never been. Leon turned his hand over, staring at the unblemished skin.
No inflammation, no scar. That's not herbalism, that's molecular level regeneration. Another impossible coincidence.
That night, Captain Vera updated her log from the ship's command center. Her words clipped but alert.
The colony's logistics are flawless. No wasted labor, no resource shortages. Their coordination rivals a military unit.
A boy ran up and placed a carved wooden bird in Leanne's palm. His smile was innocent.
For me, you've made my day, little one. Even the children speak like operatives. My papa says you are the first real friend we've had. Why qualify real?
A violent summer storm hit without warning, threatening the harvest. Leon and Robert rushed to shift the grain sacks, wind tearing at their cloaks as Robert lifted a heavy sack, his sleeve snagged and rode up. For a heartbeat, a sleek modern chronometer gleamed against his weathered skin. Robert pulled the fabric down, his movements calm but deliberate. Neither spoke, but the silence was heavy.
That device was alloyed, digital, powered. No heirloom survives 3 centuries without maintenance. He's been hiding it. The star charts, the medicine, the way they talk. It's not a coincidence. It's a controlled operation.
That night, Leanne found Captain Vera alone in her quarters. The door sealed behind him, and he relayed everything.
A chronometer? You are certain it wasn't a recovered artifact. Leon, the colonists salvage what they can from the crash sites.
It was factory clean, Captain. Powered and calibrated. He hasn't lost technology. He's been hiding in plain sight.
Observation only, Leon. If your suspicion is correct, confronting them now could risk the entire mission.
He nodded, but the trust was gone. Every kind gesture in the village now felt like part of the same careful design. Weeks later, as the cultural mission neared its scheduled end, Captain Vera ordered a final systematic review of all collected data. Junior analyst Kale Miraz was assigned the demographic archives, thousands of interview transcripts, family trees, and oral histories.
A simple cross-check against Terran historical archives. Routine work. Should be finished in a few cycles.
He began methodically, linking names and dates to the public Terran records that Earth always shared with exploration partners. By the 3rd hour, a strange flicker appeared. One colonist's ancestor matched the exact dates of a 2330s naval engineer. He found another, a cook whose story matched a retired infantry sergeant. Then a third, a fourth, all clustered in the same military era.
This can't be coincidence. Every oral history traces back to military personnel, not farmers, not scientists, soldiers.
He pulled up the Aurora's official manifest from Terran archives. The names didn't match. The Lost Generation ship's crew was civilian.
Something is very wrong. I need to run a full statistical correlation on every ancestor profile.
The system began crunching silently, a counter ticking upwards. Kale leaned back, not yet alarmed, but no longer bored. The progress bar vanished, and the screen flooded with red correlation lines. 42 ancestor profiles, 40 matches, statistical significance. beyond error.
40 out of 42. The probability of that happening by chance is effectively 0.
He accessed the Terran Military Retirement Archives, the secure database shared only in confidence. Each match had a full service history. Colonel James Aldrin, 2334. Master Sergeant Elena Cross, 2338. Lieutenant Commander David Okonkwo, 2331. Not random. Every single one had retired from Special Operations Command.
They didn't even bother to invent civilian ancestors. They used real veterans, as if daring someone to notice.
He ran a forgery check on the interview recordings and genetic samples. The records were untampered. The colonists had spoken these lies aloud, convincingly. For 3 years, Kale sat motionless, the hum of the ship's engines, the only sound. His earlier boredom felt like a luxury from another lifetime.
This isn't just a lost colony with a secret. The entire history of this settlement is a fabrication, planted by someone with deep access to Terran records.
On the central screen, all 40 profiles aligned next to the Aurora manifest that had none of them. The deception was mathematically perfect.
I need to tell someone. But who? And what would it mean for 3 years of our own people's work?
Kale nearly ran through the dim corridors, his datapad glowing with the damning correlation. He found Lien in the anthropology lab, packing woven gifts from the colony.
Lien, stop. I need you to see this right now. It's about the entire colony.
Lien followed him to the empty mess hall, his expression shifting from confusion to unease. Kale threw the analysis onto the central table screen. Rows of names, ranks, and unit designations filled the space.
All service records, no civilians. The Aurora manifest was civilian, but every single ancestor was military. I noticed small things, a chronometer on Robert's wrist, medicines that healed instantly, children speaking like spies. I tried to ignore it.
The silence stretched as Lien stared at the screen, his earlier warmth toward the colonists curdling into something colder.
Lydia taught me to weave. She called me a friend, but her grandfather was a decorated operative. It was all performance.
We have to tell Captain Vera. Now. She needs to know before we make any final mission reports.
Lien nodded, his eyes dry but his posture rigid. Together, they walked toward Vera's quarters, the proof burning in Kale's hand. The door to Vera's quarters slid open without greeting. 2 of her crew stood in the dim corridor, their expressions stripping away the hour's pretense of calm.
What's happened? Both of you look as if the hull has breached.
Without a word, Kale threw the correlation onto the main screen. Rows of names and red lines snapped into place, linking colonist stories to military dossiers.
Explain this. What are we looking at?
Every ancestor story, Captain. 40 out of 42 trace back to retired Terran Special Operations personnel. Not the Aurora, a lie that held for 3 years.
Vera stepped closer, her crest twitching, as she magnified a single profile. A Terran colonel who supposedly died with the Aurora.
The Aurora manifest was civilian. This isn't just a lie. It's a deliberate operation. Someone put this colony here for a reason. Who else knows about this data?
Only us 3. I haven't sent any reports. I came straight to you.
Vera nodded slowly, then gave the order. A full internal review. No outside transmission. The mission had just become a counterintelligence crisis. Kale and Vera worked through 3 sleep cycles, pulling every fragment of data the exchange had gathered.
The colony's official founding date is 2342, Captain. Right after Terran intelligence reorganized its deep cover division.
He pulled up the restructuring decree and the colony's initial landfall records. The timelines dovetailed with bureaucratic precision.
The Aurora was supposedly lost in 2198. This colony only appeared in 2342, over a century's gap with no explanation.
Genetic comparisons yielded a second blow. None of the living colonists shared measurable DNA with the service members they claimed as ancestors.
Not descendants, a rotating roster. They've been cycling personnel for decades.
Vera pulled up the official Terran records on the Aurora. The file was curiously thin, stripped of mission logs and crew dossiers.
This world was picked because it was unlikely to be found by anyone except a thorough survey. Whoever planted them knew we'd come eventually.
And they made sure we'd stay. The perfect lost colony, too charming to leave.
The file on the deception swelled, but the purpose behind it remained a locked door. They were looking at a stage, not the script. Vera pulled up the raw exchange logs, stripped of academic framing. For the first time, she saw the exchanges as a flow of information.
They didn't just share their history, they asked about our propulsion drives, crew rotation, even our academy psychology training.
She accessed a colonist's leather-bound journal that Leon had digitized months ago. It was filled with diagrams of Teleran energy signatures.
Our primitive scribes took perfect operational notes on every system we described.
She summoned Lien. He arrived still holding a half-packed bag of woven cloth, his earlier warmth replaced by a hollow look.
Every conversation I had with Lydia, she never forgot a detail. Were those friendly questions? A collection protocol. I told Lydia about our jump calculations. She asked if something so complex could be automated. I thought it was curiosity.
That's a probing question for a simple weaver. She was mapping your command logic and technical thresholds.
The patterns snapped into full view. Warmth as a tool, storytelling as a cover. A honeypot that ran on friendship and misinformation.
We've been systematically mined for 3 years, and Earth now knows exactly what we showed them.
Leon didn't sleep. He sat on his bunk, turning a small wooden bird over in his fingers, the one the colonist child had given him.
Lydia's laugh when I made a mistake on the loom. Her hand steadying mine. Was the warmth trained, or was there ever a moment of truth?
The mess hall became a war room of grief. Kale spread data pads across the table, each one a different colonist's file, his voice cooler than ever.
The data is undeniable. Every interaction was logged, cataloged, cross-referenced. This was not a colony. It was an active listening post.
We cannot let emotion dictate our next move. If we expose them publicly, Earth will retaliate diplomatically, and Teleran Prime will be dragged into a scandal.
And if we do nothing, they win without consequence. 3 years of our lives turned into a marketable product. I watched Lydia smile while she cataloged my trust.
The most logical approach is a quiet extraction. End the mission, file a full report with Teleran intelligence, let command decide retaliation in their own time.
And Robert, he walks free? The man who built this nest of lies gets a polite farewell?
Our orders are observation, not punishment. But I will not forget his face, Lien. Neither will our government.
They argued until the ship's day cycle dimmed, none willing to yield, all understanding the terrible simplicity. Someone had to choose. Kale returned to the data archives with a different password this time, a backdoor he had been authorized only hours before. He pulled the restricted Terran files. Robert Hayden's file opened first. Decorated colonel, 30-year career, commended for deep cover operations. Founder and commander of this colony at age 24.
The old man with the walking stick outranks everyone on this ship. He built this stage before we ever charted the system.
Then, Lydia Vance. Field agent, specialist in social manipulation. Retired at 34. Her family remedy was military issue. Her loom was cover.
Is that her service record?
He stepped closer, staring at the profile picture. Lydia in a crisp uniform, the same eyes but a posture that spoke of training, not heirlooms.
She called me a friend. I taught her our jump equations. She was taking notes.
It's not just those two. The colony roster rotates. Every adult colonist is a retired operative or immediate family, a closed intelligence loop.
We have been the subject of a 3-year field operation. Intelligence extraction, not cultural exchange.
She turned off the screen, but the word lingered in the air. They had one chance to decide, confront the architect, or retreat and report. The argument ended when Vera gave her final order. They would ask Robert himself, quietly, before any transmission reached home.
Kale, you stay here. Monitor every data channel. If this goes wrong, you'll be the one to send the report.
Kale's jaw tightened, but he nodded. His place was in the data, not the confrontation.
I am going with you, Captain. I need to hear it from him.
I expected you would. Just remember, we are there for answers, not revenge.
They stepped onto the dirt path as the sun crested the hills. The village stretched before them, Familiar and foreign all at once, colonists stopped their work. An old farmer set down his scythe. A mother pulled her child closer to her skirts. By the weaving hut, Lydia straightened. Her eyes followed Leon without blinking. There was no smile, no wave.
She already knew. Maybe she always knew we'd figure it out.
The communal hall door stood ajar. Inside, a single candle lit Robert's silhouette at the far end of the table. He was waiting. Vera stepped inside, her crest rigid. She laid the datapad on the rough wooden table, the files of every operative displayed.
Colonel Robert Hayden. We've read your file, all the files. 42 ancestors, 40 special operations veterans.
I was wondering when you'd notice. It took longer than I expected, honestly.
This colony is a fabrication, founded in 2342 by retired intelligence personnel. The Aurora never crashed.
Not never crashed. Never existed. We built the whole story. You came to study a lost tribe, and we studied you instead.
Was any of it real? The weaving with Lydia, the stories by the fire, were those just collection protocols?
The hospitality was real, the laughter mostly. But the data, that was the point. Every question you answered taught us something.
The candle flickered, the only movement in the still hall. Leon's hands clenched under the table.
The cultural exchange mission is terminated. Earth will be informed. What happens next is between our governments.
Robert inclined his head, his faint smile untouched. He looked, for a moment, like a teacher whose students had finally passed the test. Within the hour, Vera encoded a secure tight beam to Teller Prime and Earth. The mission was terminated by mutual agreement, citing a divergence in cultural protocols. Earth's response came back within a single cycle. The tone was warm, almost gracious, thanking the Tellerans for their dedicated efforts, without a flicker of surprise.
They expected this. They always plan for extraction. That's why Robert was so calm.
A formal offer of repatriation was extended to the colonists. Robert sent a handwritten reply. The colony would remain, now as a registered diplomatic outpost.
We built this place to be a home, not just a stage. It still is.
It's done. All evidence cataloged. The profile of Terran intelligence operations is now considerably deeper.
And what did we learn? That every friendly gesture can be a calibrated protocol. I'll never look at a gift the same way.
Take us home. Full intelligence review to command. This mission is over.
The Clarion's engines hummed to life. Below, the village shrank to a cluster of warm lights in the endless valley. Robert's chronometer glinted one last time. 3 years of trust. 3 years of data. And not a single shot fired. The cheapest war was the one fought with hospitality. A month passed. On a neutral station, journalists from a dozen species filled a conference room. The Terran flag stood beside the podium. A murmur swept the crowd as Robert Hayden walked to the front, still wearing his undyed wool tunic. The chronometer was visible on his wrist. On the Telleran ship, Vera, Leon, and Kale gathered around a single view screen. The feed showed the same man who had poured them tea 3 years ago.
Good afternoon. My name is Colonel Robert Hayden, retired. Some of you may know me as the founder of the Terran colony 2342.
He placed his weathered hands on the wood, the same hands that had offered bread to strangers. The room fell silent.
He looks exactly the same. Not a trace of remorse. Just that faint, knowing smile.
He's about to give the galaxy its first official lesson in Terran intelligence doctrine.
The screen behind Robert lit up with a single phrase, Operation Welcome Matt, complete. A collective gasp rippled through the journalists. Robert waited for the murmurs to die, then leaned slightly toward the microphone. The galaxy held its breath.
3 centuries ago, Earth was naive. We learned the hard way that being the welcoming newcomer made us a target, so we decided to flip the equation. This colony was bait, a harmless lost tribe too charming to ignore. Every explorer who found us would want to help, to study, to rescue, and in helping, they opened their own doors. 3 years of cultural exchange gave us more insight into Telleran society than a century of official diplomacy could. It didn't cost us a single warship, a single soldier, the cheapest intelligence operation in human history.
A journalist's voice cut through the stunned silence. Why this, Colonel? Why invite them at all?
Because the cheapest way to learn about your neighbor is to invite them over.
The room erupted. A dozen species journalists scrambled for their data pads, questions overlapping like startled birds. On the Clarion, Veyra's crest had flattened. Leon stared at the screen, his hands white-knuckled. Kale just let out a slow breath.
He made our entire mission a footnote, and he smiled while doing it.
Robert inclined his head, then stepped back from the podium. The press conference was over, but the story had just begun. The broadcast ended. The Clarion's observation lounge fell into silence, the three officers motionless around the hollow table.
He wasn't wrong. The line about inviting them over, it's elegant, brutal, but elegant.
Statistically, it was the most efficient collection method. No infrastructure, low risk. We must learn from this.
I'll recommend a new doctrine to command. Never underestimate a seemingly weak species and always suspect a gift.
Leon walked to the viewport, the colony planet now a shrinking blue dot in the starfield.
I'll never look at a friendly smile the same way. Not without checking for a chronometer.
Kale's hands moved across the console, compiling the definitive report. His expression was clinical, but his crest lay flat.
Their methods are now our study material. We can dissect their operation as thoroughly as they dissected our trust.
On the central screen, the outpost marker blinked. A small Terran diplomatic shuttle curved toward the planet's surface.
We leave wiser, at least. That knowledge is the only salvageable asset from this mission.
Far below, on the planet's surface, Robert Hayden climbed the hill above his village one last time. The wind moved through his undyed wool tunic, the same cloth he had worn when he first greeted the Tellarans. He leaned on his wooden staff and looked out across the fields and rooftops now marked with a diplomatic outpost sign. His chronometer caught the fading sunlight, its digital face glowing faintly. The display read a single status line, pulsing in clean Terran characters. Operation, welcome Matt, complete. No fanfare, no fleet. Just the quiet after-action report of a campaign fought entirely with hospitality.
3 decades of work, and all it cost was a smile and a cup of tea.
He turned the chronometer face inward, hiding the message from the valley below. The 2 moons rose, the wind continued. The story became doctrine, and the galaxy learned to never accept a gift at face value.